welcome you to another month-long celebration event with Lymphedivas and also Lymphedudes. I have Josh with me, who has been a founder of this company. I don't even know how long the company's been standing and doing such fabulous work, but I'm very excited to have you here. He was with me last year talking all about the garments and the gauntlets that they do provide. I am your host, Amanda Sobey. I am a lymphedema survivor, thriver, if you will. And I host a month-long celebration of all these fabulous products to tell you and teach you that there is something you can do to take back your health. Hi, Josh. How's it going?
I am doing great, Amanda. It's so great to be here back with you. I can't believe it's been a year. We should probably talk more often than this.
COVID, I have to tell you, it kind of made me a really big introvert. I think I lost a lot of my social skills as I still stumble over my words. But when we all got put into lockdown, it really took a toll on all of us. So I don't blame that we haven't connected more.
Well, I'm glad. And I'm glad that I could be here with you today. I mean, we've got some new stuff to talk about. And, we can also go into a little bit about kind of who we are and always what makes us different from all the other players here.
Well, I would love to know how you got started. I think it's a very interesting way. Like, we do happen to have you here, and not a lot of people get the opportunity to meet you. So please tell us about yourself, how you got started, and just, let the audience know who you are.
I'm Josh Levin. I'm the president of Lymphedivas. Now, while I would love to consider myself one of the founders, I can't. And I've got to give that title to my sister, Rachel Levin, and Rachel Levin Troxel, who had breast cancer and lymphedema. And this was sort of the impetus for why we even got started and why we're around. And so Rachel was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2005. And pretty much right after she finished her treatment, she started feeling weird stuff in her arm. And I think weird stuff is what a lot of folks experience first when they have their unfortunate introduction to lymphedema. And for her, it was feelings of heaviness. It just didn't feel right. She couldn't tell visibly that there was swelling, but she could feel that something was wrong. And so she went to go get her first garment, and it was an awful experience for her. This was back in 2006, as I said, where back then there were no options at all. You got a medical beige garment, no matter what color skin you had, and it was typically in this thick, heavy, hot, coarse, ugly garment. And my sister looked at it and said, no, I am not going to wear this for the rest of my life. And talked about it with another young woman, Robin Miller, who was even younger than she was. And the two of them commiserated and said, I think that we can do something here. I think we can make a garment that we'd actually want to wear. And that was the beginning of Lymphedivas. And now that's the cool stuff that we have now. We have over 100 patterns. But really what Rachel was trying to do was make a garment, one that she wanted to wear, that worked, but also that didn't make her feel like she was sick or had a disease. And the way that people would approach her with the standard medical looking ones was always a statement of, are you okay? What happened to you? It was negative. And then when she started wearing the first Lymphedivas, which were just solid colors, it was, hey, that's cool. Where'd you get that? And it just changed her whole attitude. And I think that was a big point for us as a company, realizing we need to change how people look at what they are dealing with. Like, yes, you're going to have this. There is not currently a cure. It's not going to be the best of times, but it doesn't have to be the worst of times. And, we can get garments that are more comfortable or stylish, that make you still feel like a person and not just a patient. And that was what Rachel had started. Unfortunately, about a year and a half after she started the company, her cancer did metastasize and she passed away. But at that point, it became a family business. My father took it over. got it really kind of going. And once the company was sort of off of its feet, then I was able to come in. I was doing consulting at a big consultancy shop, design consultancy shop in New York at the time. I left that job to take over and work with my dad up until a couple of years ago when he passed away. And, this is still very much Rachel's company, with what Rachel had first set out to do by changing the way that people approach managing their disease. And she has innovated. She disrupted this entire industry and made options for those who are dealing with this, whether it's from us or other people. There are now options out there. And that's what we want to keep doing. We want to keep putting options out there. We want to keep improving how people look at themselves when they're dealing with it, and really keep this going so that we can continue to be a part of folks' lives in helping them deal with this disease.
I just love hearing that, because you really have revolutionized the compression industry. You have been the trendsetters, and you've kind of made other compression garment companies take a second look around and say, oh my goodness, what a fabulous product. And just what a fabulous option. I know when I was first handed compression, it was that boring medical beige, and it was just depressing. I wasn't wanting to be compliant, especially I was 20 years old at the time. So it was just so devastating, not only to have a medical device needed on a daily basis, but it was just god awful. It was horrible to put on. It didn't fit properly. And I just, as for a 20-year-old, I thought, forget it, screw it. I didn't understand also the benefit of compression either. So it just was like, I'm not going to wear this, because again, I don't want to be caught wearing this thing. So it really did affect me and made me depressed overall. So again, I want to say thank you to you, and to obviously to your sister Rachel, for having just that vision to make this company what it is for today. Let's talk a little bit about functionality and some of the special features that the garments do provide. So I'm certain everybody wants to know, yes, they look great, but what can you tell us about what they actually do?
So functionally, these garments work like every other compression garment out there. They are medical grade graduated compression, meaning that there is more compression down by your wrist, and then it gets lighter as it moves up your arm. And it's that graduation. Things like to move from high pressure to low pressure. And so that's what that's doing, is helping the fluid move through that. We also don't use any silicone. We don't use any latex. The garments are made of spandex and nylon, so pretty simple products. And we are all made, I know you're up there in Canada, so I'll just say we are all owned and operated here out of North America, rather than just the US, but we are owned and operated in the US. And then, the garments are moisture wicking, they're breathable, they're lightweight, so we have really tried to meld function and form here together so that you've got the functional medical aspects of what you need in managing your disease, but it's doing it in a way that doesn't look like or necessarily even feel like a medical device. And with all the different patterns and fun stuff, that's really where it gets to be really outside of that normal medical device purchase path. But everything here is really just trying to make something that is functional, works, and that you'll actually want to wear.
I normally wear leg garments, you guys. You probably know that. So I'm going to be very kind of naive to the whole arm garment situation. Tell me, do these garments come in different levels of compression? Because you do say that they're medical grade. So would I be allowed to have a different level of compression? And if so, what are they?
And so right now, our upper extremity garments, which are our arm sleeve, we have a gauntlet that ends right below the fingers, but does have a thumb stub. And then we have a full fingered glove with open fingers on the top as well. Okay. All of our garments are completely seamless, and all of them are made in either 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury of graduated compression, or 30 to 40 millimeters of mercury of graduated compression. So we offer for upper extremity the two most common compression classes, but we are, and I know that you are very excited about this, Amanda, we are looking at getting prepared to expand into lower extremity.
I was gonna ask, but I didn't want to be disappointed, so I'm very happy. And so now hold up for a second, because I guess that's been some questions in the chat. But
Yes.
depending on the class sizes. So now this is where I feel that I struggle, because I think the higher the compression you go, the less choices are available. So are you telling me that all patterns that you have can come either in the 20 to 30 mmHg and 30 to 40 mmHg? There's no differentiation between those. Anything that you want will come in the class that you need if you fall under those two compression classes. Is that correct?
That is correct. So,
Nice.
whatever you need, we can provide. There is no cost difference with the higher compression classes. Everything is equal here. So, we have really tried to make it a simple path for folks to understand what they need and what we have available. But
and I love the
that is
seamlessness as well too. Again, great feature to have a seamless gauntlet for your hand. Again, just making it super easy to don on. I know for people that when we do get seams on our garments, they can leave, a mark, and it can get painful. So I think that's a beautiful option to let people know that that does exist out there. So again, Willa asked, how soon are you adding leg garments?
I know we are very much getting very close to it. It is absolutely launching this year, and it is absolutely launching probably earlier in this year rather than later from where we are right now. So I don't have a specific date at this point, but you can sign up on our website, which is www.lymphedivas.com. And I think Amanda will put that up there. But on our website, you can sign up for the announcement of when the knee highs will launch. Now, the knee highs themselves, obviously, we are launching with just a knee high to begin with, not a full length or a thigh high. This is sort of going to be a rolling launch for us as we get into the lower extremity market. The first piece of it is the closed toe. I'm sorry, Amanda. The closed toe knee high, but we will be following that up with open toe knee highs. And not just that, but with the knee high garment, we are also going to add in a 15 to 20 millimeter mercury option. So we will range the 15 to 20, which will be less expensive, and then offer a 20 to 30 as well as a 30 to 40.
I feel like Oprah Winfrey, because again, a lot of the 15 to 20 will be for just the general public. So it's like, you get a pair, you get a pair.
Yes. And that's what we want. We want people to have access to high quality garments, whether they are needing them for lymphedema or if they just need them for another condition, disease, or they just like to wear them. Whatever it is, giving people this option, I think, is going to be very exciting.
Well, I get a lot of feedback for a lot of people just stumbling on my page and they don't understand the benefit of compression, and even just like regular folk, they want to start wearing compression, and I highly advocate for it. You see athletes wearing it, and I kind of get my nose turned up because I'm like, seriously, I've been wearing my compression for 20 years now. Like, sit down, right? Like, it's all about me, not you. But anyways, going forward, that's really exciting news. I hope when you roll out these products, you give me a call, and maybe we'll do another webinar and do another giveaway, and we'll do this all over again, and I could be your guinea pig. Fingers crossed.
And quite possibly, and also instead of just showing the garment, you could try them on too. So that would be nice. The knee high itself is just like our other garments, so they're completely breathable and moisture wicking. Same sort of things there. What we are starting to add in now is antimicrobial properties via pure silver. So that is now in with the garment. They're still soft and silky. The upper band is very wide up here, so it does a really good job of gripping your the top of your calf. I've been wearing these, have not had any issues with anything coming down on my legs. Just like with the others, there's no latex, there's no silicone. We have put in what we are calling our floating heel. So that when you put it on, there is a pocket that your heel can go into. So it does feel like it's fitting in there, and everything is holding in place.
Susan says that she has lymphedema in her arm and hand. She uses a sleeve and glove. Where the sleeve ends, she gets a noticeable ring from the elastic where the sleeve ends and the glove overlaps around my wrist. It doesn't matter if I tuck in the glove under the sleeve or vice versa. I know that it's not good to restrict the fluid. I've tried to put foam, etc., under the wrist area and on top of my hand, but hard to get that in and cumbersome around the wrist and hand. Any suggestions?
My always go-to suggestion is, this might be an issue to bring to your therapist as well, because they might have some solutions that are much more directly about, putting forms inside of the garment or something like that. But the issue that you've raised is a real one. And it's one that we had noticed early on in the beginning of our company, where obviously with the sleeves, the highest amount of compression is sitting at that wrist. So you have your highest amount of compression here. That can potentially, if you're not wearing anything on your hand, act like a tourniquet and prevent fluid that was moving in past it. So if you've got discomfort on your wrist and it is really kind of pinching in, you might want to look at and talk to your therapist about changing sizes of your garment. But making sure that the handpiece, when it sits on top of it, that the wrist of the handpiece is not tight as well. That's something that you do want to look for, because that overlap of compression, even if the handpiece was providing more compression than you were getting at that wrist for that graduation that we want to see, if the wrist of the handpiece was adding more compression onto what the wrist of the sleeve was doing, that may be adding more and negating the whole reason that you're wearing the handpiece. So making sure that those particular fit issues aren't issues is the first step here. After that, it's a question of, all right, is it just a question of comfort? Is it painful having it pinch in, or am I seeing a buildup of swelling either in my hand or on my wrist? If you're seeing that buildup, that's the point that you realize, all right, I need to make a change here, either a change in garment, a change in how I'm doing it. That might be one of the things that they'll do, especially for the hand. If you're getting swelling along the back of your hand here, is they can put a little pad, a swell spot underneath of it. The idea here is that when you look at the hand, the hand is this shape. It's almost like a plane. And when we talk about millimeters of mercury of compression, the assumption is it is an equal amount of compression around all the way around. Something like this, you're getting all of the compression on your edges, not on the back of your palm or your back of your hand or your palm, which might be where your swelling is. And so when they put that little swell spot on, what that's doing is it's making it more circular so that it is pressing down and helping move that piece of fluid. So, I would take a look at what is your hand doing and your arm doing. Are you seeing swelling occur that you didn't before? Is it a comfort issue? And then talk to your therapist about what solutions you may have to resolve those.
Since we're on the topic of customizable options, what kind of customizable options does Lymphedivas come with, so people are educated to maybe their therapist or fitter don't know what Lymphedivas can do? So again, if there's a swell spot pad, they can do that. Is there anything else? Like, again, I know for my legs, I can get a longer length and a shorter length depending on for me, because I have issues. What other options does Lymphedivas offer so people out there who are watching can figure this out and apply for their best care?
Obviously, we have our compression classes. We've got the 3 sizes and our 2 lengths, and that's going to be the same for all of our arm sleeves. We are going to add in a extra large into the lower extremity line as that's coming out. We are still looking at adding extra large into the upper extremity line too. But for the launch of the knee highs, we'll have that extra large. And what if you are seeing issues of comfort and not as much around efficacy of the garment, although if you're seeing that the garment is not working as well as it should, you might want to look into how old is the garment, but you could also look into different sizes, whether it's changing from a long to a short, or changing from a medium to a large. We've got some tools on our end where we can look a little bit more at what the garment's doing inside and see if you can safely change a size, because otherwise, if you just try changing a size, you might not be getting that graduated compression that you still really want to have.
No, I love it. And I think, again, giving the information to these viewers is just the best piece of advice that you can do. I do find that in the compression industry, I often tell my clients to get educated so that oftentimes they're as knowledgeable as their fitters in order to get the best care and the best quality and just the garments that fit good. Because again, if compression is too tight, it's not right. If compression is too loose, it's of no use. So again, figuring out what really works for you. And again, I recommend try before you buy, right? Try these on and put them to the test to make sure that they fit for you. but also knowing some of these special custom options really can make this experience a much better one versus trying to suffer through it. So thank you for that. Okay, Christine, she has sleeve. How do the sleeves hold up in regards to snags or runs? I like the soft material of my current garments, but I have lots of issues with snags or runs in my arm sleeve.
That is always the problem with softer materials. They are going to snag a little bit more easily than something that is stiff and coarse. The key is more just being aware, not, and this is something that I still do. Like when I've worn the sleeves and I put a jacket on and I'm not paying attention and the cuff of the jacket has Velcro and it just, those little hooks. So, a lot of this is going to be in just being aware that you do have this on. You can't treat your arm like just an arm. It does need a little bit more care. So I've got to be honest that yes, the softer fabrics do tend to pill and pull a little bit more easily than a coarser fabric, but that's also kind of your trade-off there.
And 100%. So again, I think this comes down to different products for different functions. If you know that you're going to do a dodgeball event and you're not going to wear your most delicate, most beautiful arm garment to that event, like, if you're going to be going into a place that is very rigorous, you got to do a lot of lifting, you're going to be putting your arms in and out of things. Maybe this is better to equip yourself with a thicker material so that you aren't as concerned of ruining it. Conversely, if this is a suggestion to you, I know we want to show off these beautiful sleeves, but if you're really worried about ruining the fabric, maybe that's the day that you wear a beautiful long sleeve compression shirt on top of it to protect it as well. Again, you don't necessarily always have to show and wear your compression. Sorry, Lymphedivas. But again, your functionality and how you kind of manage yourself through these, events that we know as life is going to be part of your kind of know-how so that you can get the most and the longevity out of these garments. Because Velcro and compression, not so good.
I was just going to say that, what you were talking about in terms of all these different life events and the different approaches, it's all about finding what's going to work. And honestly, the only person who is going to know what works for you is going to be you after having tried it. So if something's not comfortable, if something doesn't feel right, try something new. I would love it to be our garment, but if you've tried it and it's not right, then find the garment that's right. We want it to be right for you.
And a caveat, it might not be fit properly. So it might be the right garment, but it might not be fit properly. And this is what I try to get my message across the entire time. This is why I host events such as this, is because as much as I want to say every fitter is a qualified fitter, I have heard some disaster stories out there. This is why I try to educate my patients and educate anybody who has lymphedema, because it's taken me 20 years to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what I need, what I don't need, what my options are. And again, this is why we host forums such as these, so that you now are empowered to be more critical of, oh, maybe it is the garment. I do love the garment. I do love the fit, but I would do better in a petite versus a longer length, or I would do better with a comfort patch versus one without. These are all things that you should know, so that when you're getting fitted, you now know what to ask for. Joy, are you going to make more of the sleeves with darker background for people of color? I love that I can choose the sleeves to match my skin color.
So, we do have our mocha color with the background, and we are going to be putting more of our patterns on the mocha sleeves so that those with darker skin colors can get more of the patterns on that base. For the knee highs, we are looking at launching with sort of capsule collections. That is enabling us to focus in on some patterns that we think are going to do better or well, and sort of get things out there in pieces so we can get them out faster. So that's really what we are working for there.
Christine, welcome again. I love seeing you here. If our fitter doesn't carry Lymphedivas, what is the best route to order in Canada? Great question.
That is a good question, and I probably should be more prepared for that one, because you can order from us and we can ship to Canada. Shipping times can be problematic, and I'm sure all of you are aware of importation costs. So we do have some stores in Canada that carry us. You can go onto our website and find our store locator. But if there's any other questions, around you specifically, you can give us a call, to Lymphedivas, and we will be more than happy to help figure out the best way for you to find something. And that is 866-411-DIVA or 3482.
Okay, awesome. And also too, if you forget Josh and forget about all what he said, you can contact me and I will directly pass all of your information to Lymphedivas. A good question came in on the chat about the lower leg, the socks, I guess you want to start with first. For lower leg, hold on. Where was it? I saw a good question. For the knee highs, how big do they stretch? Will they accommodate plus size girls? And what about the print wraps? Yeah,
they will. So that is why we put in the extra large size for the knee highs, and all of them will have our patterns on them too. So we are going to be able to accommodate. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to just see if I can find the sizing so I can give you that piece of it. But if I can't find it, that'll be announced when we do the full launch. But we are going to have that extra large.
Sure. And Tammy, I don't understand what you mean about a print wrap. I don't understand that question. So if you want to reply back in the chat, that's fine. Roxanne, I think we discussed about the levels, about the 20 to 30 and 30 to 40 mmHg. So again, those are the levels that we have. I think we've answered your question. Your gauntlet has a pad. Does the Lymphediva gauntlets also come with pads for upper part of the hand? Good question, Rosemary.
So we don't come with a pad or a specific pocket to put one in, but if either your therapist can get a swell spot, or if you're able to have them, or even potentially use the same one that's on your other garment, talk to your therapist, of course, first. But you should just be able to insert that onto the back of your hand and get the same effect with our garment.
Tammy has asked for lower legs. She would love to see a wrap with a pull reach, like a tactile pump wrap, which helps us reach the lower ankle area.
I think I might need you to jump into so that I can understand the problem a little bit more fully.
So for people with lymphedema who have a hard time reaching down, sometimes not all garments, it's more so for like pumps specifically, that people will have like a handle or a hook to help just get the foot in. You'll see them on nighttime garments, you'll see them on pumps. And again, they are practical, but again, I think sometimes the placement of the strap is a little bit awkward because again, where they place it, you can't necessarily put your foot through it. So again, it's just more so for ease of donning it on. Josh, do you have anything to say about putting a strap or something for people to pull when they're donning on these garments?
We don't have a strap or any additional donning material. These do don very similar to the other ones. The material I have felt is a little bit easier to get on. It is quite stretchy and it can handle quite a bit as you pull. But really, if anything, I've had to be more careful about not stretching it out too much, and really just getting it over my limb appropriately. And I didn't really have any issues with that. And even that floating heel helps get over that heel point, which is one area that I did see issues.
And I think once you start understanding, especially for leg garments, I had to find a special system that worked for me and also the proper products for me, which made it very easy to don them on and don them off. And if you do have extra problems with that, your therapist should be able to help you work around. Again, if mobility is an issue, if you're having a really tough time putting on garments, maybe garments might not be the best place for you to start. Maybe doing a decongestive therapy to get down some of the size to get you into garments would be a better investment, because again, with wraps, they are a custom fit every single time. Allie says that she will say that she started with the Bella Joke sleeve through her therapist. She ordered a Lymphedivas with her approval. The Bella looked way more used and abused than the beautiful Lymphediva sleeve. So there you go. That wasn't a question. That was a cool shout out.
Thank you.
Tammy, yay! So I have a quick question, since everyone else is asking questions about the knee highs that are coming out, and I know I do prefer open-toed. In the future, would you possibly consider doing open-toed? Like, I know this is still a newer product, so for right now, it is just closed-toed, which is fine. I can wear my fancy shoes, my little fancy party shoes. But will you be able to consider doing open-toed for the people like me that like my toes to breathe?
100%. The open toes are coming next.
thank you so much for coming. We do love your story. I'm sorry for calling you a co-founder. I guess the whole family business.
Oh, it's okay.
I consider you one of the team, right? It was in the genealogy, right? It was bound to happen. I wish you could take full credit for it. But again, we do appreciate your sister for being the trendsetter for this industry. It brings a lot of tears and happiness to myself. Sorry, I'm not fake crying, but there was nothing more depressing than being fit with something that just made you feel awful. So from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you for advancing compression. Thank you for giving us our style back and giving us this flexibility to look good and feel great, even though we have a condition that we might not necessarily be happy with. Actually, I know I'm not happy with it, but whatever, I'll deal with it. So thank you very much for being here. We do look forward to your brand new products launching sooner than later. And I look forward to doing this again. And I really hope that it won't take us a year to reconnect, because I do sincerely appreciate your time.
Absolutely will. And it will not take us a year.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll hold you to that. I got it taped. It's on video. So
yeah, it's on video.
Hey, thanks you guys so much. Thank you for joining me.